the secret that just spoke out loud. There is a moment in every great soap opera when the carefully constructed Leia character has been living suddenly cracks open, not slowly, not gently, but all at once, right in front of someone who is not supposed to be there. That moment has arrived for Nina, and it is absolutely breathtaking to watch. 4 months now, Drew has been sitting in a wheelchair at the Quartermaine estate, silent, still, seemingly lost somewhere deep inside himself. Those around him believed he had suffered a catastrophic stroke, that the vibrant, forceful man he once was had simply gone quiet. The people closest to him mourned him in real time, even while he was still sitting right there in the room.
It was heartbreaking.
It was also a lie, because the truth, the ugly, stunning, almost unbelievable truth, is that Drew did not have a stroke. He was deliberately put into that state. Paralytic medications were involved. There is a conspiracy. And right at the center of it all is Willow, a woman who loves her children so fiercely that she convinced herself she had no other choice. She made a deal with a very dangerous man to obtain those medications, and as long as the supply kept coming, her secret stayed safe. But that supply has now been completely cut off. The man behind it, Jens, is in custody. The medications have run dry. And Drew? He is waking up. Here is where it gets truly jaw-dropping. Drew has been regaining awareness quietly, carefully, without letting anyone around him realize just how far his recovery has come. He whispered Willow's name recently when no one was around to hear it. But the recovery is accelerating fast. His mind is sharp. His voice is returning. And he knows exactly what was done to him. He knows who did it.
He knows why.
Every single detail. So picture this scene. Nina is with Drew down at the Quartermaine boathouse near the water, helping him settle into his chair, probably telling herself that everything is still under control. And then Drew turns to her. And he speaks, clear as a bell, looks right at her, and asks what is wrong, suggesting she has heard bad news. And just like that, the entire illusion shatters. The look on Nina's face? Pure terror. Because Nina understands in that instant exactly what this means. If Drew can speak, he can tell people what happened to him. He can name names. He can unravel everything that Willow has so carefully kept hidden. Willow's whole life, her children, her freedom, all of it is suddenly balancing on the thinnest possible wire. Now, Willow has been desperately trying to find something she can use against Drew, some piece of damaging information, some buried secret, something that would give her real leverage, so that even when he fully recovers, he would have good reason to stay quiet. She needs something to hold over his head. Without it, the moment Drew regains full mobility and full voice, everything comes crashing down around her. There was supposedly a black case, containing exactly the kind of damaging information Willow has been hunting for. But that case has vanished. Word is, it has landed in the hands of Valentine, who will absolutely use it for his own purposes. So not only does Willow not have her leverage, but someone else now holds a very powerful card in this already dangerously complicated game. Meanwhile, Drew is getting stronger by the hour. And the scene at the boathouse raises a question that is almost too dark to say out loud. But this is a soap opera, darling, so we are going to say it. They are right beside the water. Drew is not yet fully mobile. If Nina panicked, if pure instinct kicked in before reason could stop her, could she do the unthinkable? Here is the twist that makes this even more electric. There are strong hints that Gio is going to save someone this summer, someone that certain people very much did not want saved. If that boathouse moment goes sideways, and Drew ends up in that water, could Gio be the unexpected hero who pulls him out? Could one young man doing the right thing blow this entire secret wide open? The walls are closing in on Willow. The clock has nearly run out. And one sentence spoken beside a quiet lake may be the thing that changes absolutely everything. A father comes home changed, but not broken. There are few things more powerful in a soap opera than a parent returning to their child after being forced apart by circumstances beyond their control. When that reunion is layered with trauma, with guilt, with the desperate need to simply hold your kid and breathe for a moment, it becomes something that reaches right through the screen and grabs you by the heart. Jason went through something during his absence that Port Charles is only now beginning to understand. He was not simply away. He was held captive in a facility overseas for months by an organization that does not exactly operate by the rules of common decency. What happened to Jason during that time, the beatings, the psychological pressure, the isolation, left marks that are not visible to the naked eye but are absolutely present in the way he carries himself now. Jason came back with a new face alongside him, a surgeon named Tristan, someone Port Charles has never met before. Whether Tristan is purely a healer or whether he has ties to the very organization responsible for Jason's captivity is still an open question. There is something layered about this man, something that suggests his arrival in town is not as straightforward as it appears. That story will unfold in its own time. But what matters right now is Jason and Danny. Jason got back and went straight to his son. Not to old friends. Not to old business. Not to romance. His son. Everything else could wait. And that one choice tells you everything about where Jason's head is right now. The two of them sat together at the Quartermain boathouse and had a real conversation, the kind fathers and sons do not always get to have. Danny had been carrying something heavy. He had taken responsibility for something he did not do in order to protect someone he cared about, and the weight of that had been sitting on his young shoulders far too long. Jason did not lecture him. He did not minimize what Danny had done. He simply told his son that protecting the people you love sometimes means absorbing pain that was not yours to carry, and that he understood because he would have done exactly the same. It was the kind of father and son moment that makes you want to pick up the phone and call someone you love. Tracy came by the boathouse during this time, genuinely glad to see Jason home safe. And it was during that visit that Jason asked her for something, a favor that required her complete trust. He wanted to take Danny away for a little while. Just the two of them, no obligations, no history pressing in, no Port Charles drama crowding every corner. He needed time to simply be a father. Tracy agreed. She would let the people who would worry, including Alexis, know that Jason and Danny were safe and would be back soon. Some viewers felt that familiar pang of disappointment when Jason left again so quickly after returning. And honestly, that feeling makes complete sense. But think about what this man just survived. Think about what it must feel like to have been taken, held against your will, hurt, and then dropped back into a world full of people who all need something from you, before you have even had a moment to figure out who you are on the other side of that experience. Jason needed Danny. Danny needed Jason. Everything else could wait. And here's the good news. They are coming back. When Jason walks back through those doors, Port Charles is going to feel the shift immediately. Because this is not the same man who left. Something has been stripped away by what he endured. His priorities have been rearranged from the inside out. There are even quiet hints that Jason may not find his way back to Britt romantically, and that Britt and Tristan may be the pairing that quietly surprises everyone. One chapter closing. Another one opening. When Jason returns with Danny at his side, ready to face his life and his city again, it is going to be something genuinely worth watching. When jealousy wears the face of concern. Now let's talk about something that feels a little lighter on the surface, but is actually a ticking time bomb of emotions, because young love mixed with ambition and insecurity is a combination that never, ever ends quietly on a soap opera. And Emma is about to find that out the hard way. Trina and Gio recently stepped onto a stage together and absolutely stunned everyone in that room. Their musical showcase turned heads in a serious, career-changing way. They walked off that stage buzzing with the kind of electricity that only comes when you have worked hard for something, and it pays off in a public, undeniable, beautiful way. Now, a good partner, a secure, genuinely loving, supportive partner, sees their person glowing like that and feels proud. Maybe a little bit of wonder. Definitely joy. That is not what Emma did. When Gio came to her after the showcase, lit up and excited, wanting to share this moment with the person he loves, Emma pulled back. Instead of celebrating him, she got quiet. Instead of saying she was proud of him, she started asking questions with an edge to them. Questions that, when you strip away the polite phrasing, really come down to one very loaded thing. Why are you spending so much time with Trina? The contrast could not have been more striking. Kai, Trina's partner, was completely over the moon for both of them. Enthusiastic, warm, exactly what you want standing next to you when something wonderful happens in your life. That difference did not go unnoticed by anyone watching. But Emma was not finished. Later, alone with Gio, she pressed even further. She asked him point-blank whether he was really pursuing this for himself, or whether he was doing it for Trina. And that question, that sharp and pointed question, tells you everything about where Emma's head truly is right now. Here is what makes this so fascinating. Trina and Gio have something genuinely rare together. Their voices work. Their energy connects on stage. The industry people in that room recognize something real and something special. That is not manufactured, that is talent meeting talent and creating something bigger than either of them alone. And Emma, on some level, can feel that. Not necessarily because anything romantic is happening between Gio and Trina, but because she senses that the connection is real and meaningful, and it exists completely outside of her. She tried to frame her worry as something reasonable. Is a music contract too much too soon for Gio while he is still in college? Is this the right moment for this kind of professional commitment? But that framing does not quite hold together. Gio is a serious, accomplished musician. This is precisely the kind of opportunity he has been working toward. The question Emma is really asking has nothing to do with timing. It has everything to do with fear. And here is the thing about fear in a relationship. It tends to create exactly what it is most afraid of. Every time Emma pulls away instead of leaning in, every time she asks a suspicious question instead of offering an encouraging smile, she builds a little more distance between herself and Gio. And every time that gap widens, Gio and Trina are left finding their support in each other. Meanwhile, Trina herself had a wobble before that showcase. Nerves, doubt, cold feet. She had to be talked down before she could walk out there and shine. She is not some effortless threat. She is a young woman figuring things out one performance at a time, just like everyone else. But none of that matters to Emma right now because Emma is not seeing Trina clearly. She is seeing a rival. Whether this jealousy eventually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, whether Emma's behavior quietly pushes Gio toward the very person she is afraid of losing him to, is the question simmering beneath every rehearsal, every harmony, every shared moment between Trina and Gio that Emma is not part of. Soap operas have taught us one thing above everything else, sweetheart. Push someone toward the person you fear, and do not be shocked when they end up exactly where you were afraid they would go. This triangle is just getting started, and it is going to be absolutely delicious.